What's going on YouTube? Earth Power here with CVH,
How's it going, everybody?
and we're back with the Leg 2 Gatekeeper match. Lightwater Dark, Marino Tempo versus the winner of the Niminex versus Mykee Pliers match, Mykee's Pliers.
Yeah,
Dark Fire Nature. Yeah. So, check out the deck profiles, link down below. We did a big and we'll be doing it for the next coming weeks too, for those of you who are just tuning in. But all the deck profiles going up in one tight video to just kind of showcase every leg of the play-in as we make it through it. So yeah,
yeah,
CVH looking to take some revenge on Mykee's Pliers after it dispatched his Robo Mantis a few
absolutely.
days ago.
You know I took that personally, Carl. So yeah, we're jumping in. I'm playing the Lightwater Dark Marinomancer. A fun take on a deck that we had in Season 1's actual bracket. We didn't do a play-in for Season 1, so it was just in there. And yeah, it wasn't... Actually, was it in there? It was in there. It was a
It
strange, not amazing
was
version of
we
it, yeah.
so you say You say strange though, right? Like season one was definitely like, let's take our 2012 knowledge and try to play catch up of the last decade in a 16 bracket turn or a 16 man bracket tournament with like all of our old knowledge of Duel Masters, with like all of our 2023 concepts of just a decade plus of just understanding card games, and we still did not get a lot right. But Marino was an old tried and true control concept for us back on the channel back in 2012 when we were doing old Duel Master videos, and really thought that it would hold its own, and quickly realized that it is a very outdated concept, and you just roll snake eyes and you're kind of upset about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Season 1 was funny because you could tell we just started looking at the IDC list. We threw Lightwater Dark Nature, Turbo Burn in the last minute, just like, oh, this probably looks good. People seem to be playing it. I bet they know something we don't. Then it just dumpstered everything else in the bracket. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, I guess they had a point, right? It's a pretty good deck. But in this matchup, the new Marino is pretty streamlined. It's got sort of a wall of blockers on turn 2 and turn 3, a bunch of discard between Ghost, Touch, Cranium Clamp, and Locomotiver, leading into turn 5 Marino to refill, and then Craze and Bloom Urcus to try to close out the game. That's kind of the idea there. And obviously, Carl is king of
Right.
turn 2 Ganta, so obviously my Sarius is going to be well contested as we get things started
Yeah.
on the draw against a 4K Ganta. Not amazing.
Right. Right. The only card in the deck that has more than 2,000 power. I'll continue to mention it. But
Yeah.
yeah, Ganta, see if that one can go the distance. You need Tajima, and there he is. So
Yeah.
the fun thing about Lightwater Dark Marino Tempo, at least in this season, season three, and what really drew us back to the deck after its very poor season one showing, was that
Your curve is
was that
ridiculous. What is this?
yeah, it's awesome. Was that the lines for Lightwater Dark Marino can change, and the deck can kind of reform itself based on its matchup. Like CVH said, you just get some really cool. You can either play the discard line with Ghost Touch, Locomotive, or Cranium Clamp. You still have Lost Soul. You can play the defensive line in matchups like this. Um, and you still get to lean on cards like Craze Valkyrie and Blue Mercus, which are just strong in their own right, but can play the tempo or control lines depending on what the matchup looks like. Like the deck doesn't need to play like standard tempo where it just wants to break a million shields. It can just starve you for cards and just have really strong curve, like
Yeah.
in general, based on what it's trying to do. It's a really cool color combination, and the way I think Marino deserves to be played. And there he is.
Yeah, Marino's like, it's nice here because it can give me some more outs to the board. Like Craze Valkyrie could be pretty sick next turn, and you're kind of starved for cards, but also Gaunt is just Pac-Manning my shields all game. So, like, my back is still up against the wall despite being like miles ahead in card advantage. I'm just miles behind on actual board presence, which is not
Right.
the best. Looks like a Hardy Captain is about to be played, and I think the last card in your hand looks like, is that a Mykee's maybe? Which normally you would probably play here, but you just saw the Craze Valkyrie in my hand, so probably don't want to just immediately let it
Yeah.
die.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's tough there because like part of me wanted to just hold the Hardy Captain. Um, but if I do, I lose both creatures regardless. I want to have at least one thing stick on board, and then over the course of the next 2 turns, hopefully just mount uh, enough of a board. Because if you play Craze this turn, I'm breaking the last shield. Like you end up with Craze and Loco at the end of this turn. I end up with either Hardy or Gallic, whichever one you lead me with. So like I'm still not in a bad spot. And if you leave me with Hardy, that's even better for me. It looks like Craze ends up going down to play the other Craze. But um,
Yeah, I think that
yeah,
was a
I mean,
decision on if I
ideally,
needed another one. I might have a Holy on my hand too,
yeah,
though.
yeah,
Yeah, and the only decision there is whether I trade with Gallic or Hardy Cap. And Hardy Cap'n can attack and go back to your hands. So maybe it was right to attack the Hardy Cap'n.
right.
I wonder why I didn't, to be
Probably
honest.
because, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, I probably have an answer to this, Mikeys, but I'm not sure why I would care that Gallic was on board. Like, it's not like you can. I guess you could swap it out and swap it back in again, but I'm not really sure. And like, yeah, Clamp is an answer, but then I
Yeah.
lose to the Mikeys on board without and you even having to have another creature. So I'm not sure what that was all
Well,
about.
you can clamp and Taj. Like you can clamp and play Taj all this turn.
Okay,
So
oh, I
like
guess I get it
you
because I didn't know you had Mikeys, right? So, yeah, so I
right,
guess
yeah.
yeah. Without Mikeys, then yeah, Gallic on board would just be another thing I have to deal with, and then I wouldn't be able to tap and kill whatever you played. I was hoping that whatever you played wouldn't be Mikeys, so I could just tap a new thing, kill it, and then you would be out of a board. Whereas if Gallic was around and you played like, let's say you top deck a Hardy Cap'n, then I wouldn't be able to kill the Gallic and the Hardy Cap'n even with tap from my hand. That would be a
Yeah,
problem.
for sure. Right.
So I guess it makes sense, but as it stands, I have to burn Holy Awe.
Well, no, because why? I mean, why not clamp and play Taj Mahal there? I guess just because I top deck anything. Or yeah, because if I top deck anything, you lose. Yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah, and any creature that's not another Mikeys would kill me.
Yeah, yeah,
And now again is the problem where like I had to burn Holy All last turn because it was a Mikeys and I couldn't just clamp and Taj. Whereas if it was not a Mikeys, I could just clamp and Taj. And since Holy All is gone now, I don't have an answer to 2 creatures. So basically, this is all just kind of spiraling out of control. Everything is bad. Um, I think part of me is regretting putting the second craze down because I didn't at all think I would need 2 crazes and a Holy Awe. I didn't think this would get that out of hand. So yeah, I can
yeah,
only play clamp or one blocker, or clamp or one blocker basically. So yeah, the
yeah.
swarm of nature creatures does me in there.
Dang, dang. Yeah, Ganta really, really proven why it's just one of the best 2 drops in the game, right?
Yeah, the
Like,
Ganta into turn 3 into Soulswap into Gallic on turn 4 to deal with Taj Mahal was just very timely and pretty sick. And yeah, I mean looking back on it, if I let me see. Yeah, if knowing that it was Mikey's, if I had traded with the Hardy Captain instead, think things probably maybe go well, no, because like at any point if you have Mikey's that turn, that's just rough for me, because then I can't do the clamp and
yeah,
Taj play. I have to do something else, and that something else is Holy
right.
Awe.
Because
But
we're
looking back, if I had kept the second craze, I could have used the second craze instead of the awe, and then I would have had awe for that final turn with the nature creatures. But actually that wouldn't have worked, because using awe or the second craze, I still would have had to trade in
yeah.
locomotiver, I think, and then I wouldn't have had 2 creatures.
Holding the craze was definitely the more right play there. Um, yeah, it's tough because I mean either way, yeah, weaving in Loco slash Clamp with 4 and the Taj Mahal, like that's still a play at some point, but like it was never safe, and there was no way to just clear the Mikeys.
And like
So
locomotive always trades, it doesn't take a favorable. So like if I had held the craze, I still wouldn't
yeah,
have been able to use the awe the following turn because I would have been down to just craze on board. So it doesn't really work either way, I think. I think your
no,
hand was
not
just too
well.
strong.
No, you still had Loco. Still had Loco. Craze instead of Craze to clear Mikeys instead of all to clear Mikeys would have at least netted you maybe an extra turn or two to figure something out. But
Maybe. What was your play after that? I guess it was already Captain in the. Yeah, I
Hardy,
could see
yeah,
that.
Hardy Captain and Mushroom, yeah, and then I'll let you deal with those, and then hopefully I brick, which it looked like I did the turn following. I had Searing Wave and another Mushroom, so
Yeah. But again,
play
like I don't know what my
Taj
hand
Mahal
was.
Loco and start dealing with them. Yeah,
If
so
keeping Craze meant I had to put Clamp down, I'd rather keep the Clamp, but it just turned out I couldn't actually do the Clamp because Mykey's was threatening to kill me. It is what it is.
yeah,
Let's see
yeah,
if the hand is as strong this game. Is that god that
yeah.
just
Let's
did
see.
some lifting last game?
Sure did. Sorry, it's the mortal enemy of Hardy Cap Polygon.
Oh, he
It's
doesn't get
evident.
Ganta.
Yeah, no Ganta this time. So
Love to see it.
you miss your 3-drop. You had to play Hulkus down. What are you holding instead?
Well, I had a miraculous snare in my hand, but there was nothing to snare that was worth it, so I didn't. And I couldn't put the snare down to play Hulkus. And I like keeping the snare in this matchup because it is like one of the most timely answers to Mykey's Pliers.
Yeah,
So instead,
so
I just
your
land
game
on turn
plan
4.
is to just starve me for cards, but I find Loco, and I said I can play this game too.
Yep. So my hand
And
at
I
this point,
snipe your,
yeah,
yeah,
I
snipe your
opt
Marino.
to I put a Marino down so I can keep the snare in Marino. And yeah, I think in this case I would have preferred your random discard hit the snare, but it hits the Marino. So now we're just trading locos. You're swapping into another loco to hit the snare, and now we're both just out of gas. And I
Yeah, out
guess
of gas with 4 mana. Yeah,
yeah, I guess
welcome,
theory would
welcome to the
say
game,
that
guys. Welcome to the
Marino's
CVH
highly
and Earth
favored
Power
here.
podcast. Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I was about to say though, welcome to the CVH and Earth Power podcast, where we just kind of talk about whatever we want to talk to while these two decks figure it out.
Yeah. So I'm actually putting mana down because it's not super likely that you hold cards. Everything except for Rebirth in your deck can be played. And I think I drew
Yeah,
Blue Mercus, which I'd probably like to play at some point.
yeah,
Would be nice.
yeah. I'm finding a few bricks here, and I don't know what my mana played in the last turn was. I wasn't paying attention, but it looks like it was maybe either Mushroom or Giga Claws, and I just topped another Mushroom. So, but 5 mana is a safe place for me, so I'm good to hold there for now. Without fire mana, Rebirth is just meh. But yeah,
Keep
I
the
can just
Bloom.
build a board and hope I don't see all is really what the whole game plan is here.
Yeah, like I could have managed that Hulkus and played Bloom, but I'm not really intending to break shields anytime soon, and I'm really hoping I can find Awe or Crazed Valkyrie soon before this gets kind of out of reach. Um, does he find it? And by he, I mean me. Doesn't look like it. Looks like I found Magris, which is nice.
Yeah,
It's
just
an
digging through the
evolution bait
deck.
that doesn't take a blocker. And here is another logo.
Snipe a Saurus out of your hand. Like not seeing more blockers. Makes it harder for my deck to get there in the end. And I'm not going to really have an answer until I have enough. So it really just comes down to if you want to start racing for trigger or not.
Yep, so Morbid's going to get Sarius and Marino. I'm hoping these Sariuses stave you off long enough to actually play the Marino, and at that point I should find Awe or Craze, one would hope, is the
Yeah, I hold a
idea.
card. It looks like I finally found something in fire that's worth playing. Galak, Rebirth. Mykey's Pliers is kind of meh at this point, and 2 of them have already been discarded. So
Oh yeah, you just
hoping
don't
that's
have
either,
fire mana. That's awkward.
yeah, yeah, need either Rebirth or Galak here. Pretty good. So hopefully I held one of those, but it'll be interesting to see if you have any of your suite of discard.
Looks like it's
Looks,
Bloom. I've got to start. I'm probably thinking about is it smart to attack here? And I think you could
yeah,
argue that a
it,
Magris attack would be pretty decent because
yeah.
Magris is very
Magris is
hard to trade into, and I
well.
think Magris and pass.
Well, I think Magris and Hocus are both fine to swing with here, right? Put me to 3. Like if Blue Marcus makes it through the turn and Magris survives, you still have the 2-turn lethal. And the worst, I mean, I have Soulswap and Terror Pit, but
Yeah.
you've already seen both swaps, and
I'm not entirely sure if
yeah,
there's a benefit to the Hulkus attack because like you can't really kill it, but
no, you're
also you
right,
can't
you're
kill
right,
it
yeah, you're right, you're
like
right.
whether it's
It's
tapped or
just yeah,
not.
it just provides that insurance shield essentially, like doesn't hurt to do it this turn necessarily, and it's an insurance shield over the course of next turn. So I have Rebirth, which is cool,
Yeah.
but I don't know that it's going to be enough.
It is really funny and sad that you had to put the wave down to do that, because I mean your hand is Gallic in Rebirth. Like if
Yeah,
you had had the ability to
yeah,
wave, I just would have lost on the spot.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely beating myself up over it right now.
Oh yeah,
Um,
because you held one of the
yeah,
non-wave cards, right?
yep,
Yeah, I could see
sure
where. Yeah,
did.
yeah,
Yeah, Gallic here is probably just better than Rebirth because I want to get rid of Asarius regardless, and I don't have a good 2-drop off of Rebirth, so I snipe the Marino again, which is but now I am you are presenting lethal. Say it that way.
I am indeed, and I think I am
Enough.
probably going for it, especially now that like you have revealed that there is a rebirth in your hand. So if there was any
Right.
doubt, I really can't afford to dilly dally anymore. Um, I'm reading the proxy bloom, and maybe I'll get a pit here. That'd be cool. Pit or swap would be just fun to do.
Yeah, no, none of that. Not yet.
I don't
I
now. I'm
think
gonna think if there's any reason I should wait, but I think going for it is just the thing to do.
yeah, going for it's fine here. I mean, even Mikeys and another card don't necessarily get me there.
Oh, I found
So
the craze in the awe.
and the blue and the other bloom. Look at it.
Yeah,
It's an
look at him.
expensive
Yeah,
set of shields there, sir. Both in cost and other costs, and you know, works
yeah.
on all fronts.
That was
You know,
mildly frustrating because I was looking the whole game basically for like a way to
er,
push the board in my favor, and they were basically all
yeah.
in shields. But that now we know that if you had the stuff to go in, and
I was yeah
still gonna be an uphill battle there. That wave still
yeah.
probably would have
I
done it
think
for you.
that's probably one of my favorite things about tempo decks that run light, right? Is that there's always like if they're playing all, there's always the insurance that all could just be down in shields. And if there's any way to search your deck, like in the we've got a deck profile for jungle coming up. Like, unfortunately, I don't know that that deck's playing all, but playing cards like Rebirth and things like that let you search the deck and still kind of know if it's down there or not. And it's a fun card to just kind of lean on insurance wise because you can just kind of free swing, and even if your opponent has to like crack back lethal, you know, all says no the majority of the time.
Yep. Still, I think relegated to more of like a tech position. Like it's not necessarily great against any specific matchup, but it's like a sometimes you include it,
Yeah.
sometimes you don't.
Sometimes it keeps Aura Pegasus out of a top four.
Yeah, no, I'm with
Shout
it.
outs to season one.
That
And
was
now
quite the match.
you got them fast fingers. Who you
Yeah.
texting, pal?
When you speed up the video, they're really fast. I have no idea. This was months ago.
Phones down. It's time to play some Duel Masters.
I was texting your wife. I was telling her I was beating you at Duel Masters game 2.
That's she needed to know that information. Yeah.
She was probably over on the couch.
Her her, her only the only thing my wife cares about when it comes to Duel Masters is if I'm losing. So that's a fair assessment on who you could be texting there.
So it's like the
Yeah.
opposite of like, are you winning, son? It's like, are you losing, Carl?
Yeah, it brings her much joy to see me not win.
That's really funny. It's because you beat her
She's
so
the
brutally every time you do like board games and stuff. It's like without
she's not a
remorse.
competitive. No, she's not a competitive person at all, and I can't help it but to be. So it's just,
Oh, you could
story
help
of our
it.
lives. Right. But
Speaking
am
of
I
like,
going to? The answer is
like,
hard
yeah,
no.
you not being competitive is as unlikely as you not having Ganta. Oh my god, you don't have Ganta, and you switch your mana
Yeah,
decision.
and I
Stop showing
switched
me
my
free
mana because
cards.
I don't have it too. Yeah, it's fine.
All
What are you
right,
gonna do about it?
nothing except have
Yeah,
extra knowledge. Ichak is a little
yeah,
bit scary as a card, but not so much here. Sirius is a I think,
yeah.
back
Like,
in the day all of our
I
decks
mean,
had so many Sirius.
unlike game one, man, Sarius deals with 90% of this deck's creatures. So
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, it does.
Muscle Charger could be a good ad for this deck in the future if we
Oh
ever get
my
around to playing it some more.
god, or just like better
Ooh,
creatures.
just better. Yeah, that's a good point.
Muscle
Snipe
Charger.
the Blue Marcus. Love to see that.
My hand is looking awkward. It looks like Craze and Tajamal and Locomotiver. I would love to play Locomotiver this turn, but I don't want to put down Craze, and Tajamal going down wouldn't let me play
Yeah.
Loco.
So I don't know if you're like it's like a Ghost of Christmas Past kind of situation for you right now, but you end up playing another Taj. You're opting for a much more defensive stance here, and I guess after the Loco, it holds up. So
Yeah. See,
it
putting the
worked
Craze
for
down
you in
means I
game.
can't really deal with the board, but I have the Marino as the last card, and you top deck Locomotiver number 2. That
Yeah,
is upsetting.
worked for you game one, but again, shout outs to again the Ghost of Christmas Past. This is it's looking real familiar to game two here.
Yeah, I mean, the
Play Gauntlet and
whole...
Mana to go to 6. Um, Rebirth and Gallic are my only outs to Taj, and I've already seen one Gallic, so I need to find answers, and Soul Swap's one of them. So,
Yeah, it is.
and I discard the Loco. Love to see that.
Yeah, it's funny because like the whole idea of Marino is that, or this version of Marino is that you equalize, 1-to-1, you discard with Ghost Touch and Locomotiver and stuff, and you play a wall of
Oh my
blockers.
god.
Yeah, and then you build that back up because your draws are better than your opponents, and Marino draws you 3, but your draws have been ridiculous, and you discarded my Marino. So
Yeah.
clearly the plan doesn't work out in the absolute worst case scenario, which I think we're looking at. I think we're looking at like this is as bad of top decks as you could have had for me post the Loco battle. And also Loco was the absolute worst thing you could have had to deal with the Marino. So
Yeah.
this
And
is
I've
going as
got
poorly as possible.
5 attackers on one Sarius here. Things aren't looking good for our hero. So
No, they are not. I have Holy Awe, but Locomotiver's not doing a whole lot. One of them can bounce with the other. Magris and Sarius kill 2 things, but it's
yeah.
looking like I still wind up dead on board, even after a
Yeah.
Holy Awe.
Holy All has to be the play though, right? Because like you can clear 3 creatures.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, just because I take some time thinking about my turn doesn't mean I don't know what keeps me alive. I just need to make sure it's like I'm doing everything right, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure. Gashak is definitely the one to kill. So is the other one that can get more card advantage if it gets through unblocked.
Yep.
Yeah, if one
Oh, so I'm
Loco
not actually dead
bounces
on
with
board.
the other.
I did the board analysis wrong. But hey, I still lose
Yeah.
all my shields potentially, which isn't fun. Or maybe you take a favorable hero over one of my initiates.
I think
Then
that's
maybe
the
break,
play,
maybe
yeah.
pass. I think I have 0 cards in hand, right? So I think maybe passing is probably fine and right.
Yeah. Yeah, for
The
sure.
odds I draw an answer are pretty low. I drew an answer, but
Therapist.
it's still not very good. I'm still on the back foot.
Yeah.
Oh boy. These
Yeah.
draws, man.
Mykey's is
These
great
draws are
here. I
these
can
draws are
pass and have
bizarre.
momentum coming into it. It's interesting there, right? Maybe you take 2 shields,
Me?
but yeah.
Carl, you have Mykey's Pliers on the board.
Yeah, but if Holy All's gonna be your answer regardless, like,
If I break 2 shields, you just kill the creatures I broke with and kill me next turn, right?
yeah.
Because at the very
But
least, you can
then
always kill Locomotiver, and then I can
but
never kill
then
you next
Bloom
turn.
but then Bloom gets to play the crackback game, and like so does Magris. Like, I feel like, yeah, no all. That's
I
unfortunate.
think I gotta be honest. I think you're strictly wrong on that one. I think if I break 2, you kill Loco. You play at least 2 creatures from hand. I only have 3 breaks next turn. You can attack my Loco and break the 2 and fade off for next turn, and then I just die the 3rd turn. But
I had, yeah, that Bloom would have taken some nice things. Yeah,
yeah,
man,
that
that's
time.
it.
What a
Another
match, man.
gatekeeper. Yeah, another gatekeeper out after leg 2 of this play-in tournament. Mykey's Pliers, Darkfire Nature, making it into the main bracket. Off to play against whatever we decided to pair it up against
I
coming
don't even
into
know.
the main tournament. Yeah, I don't know if you still have the graphics somewhere, but I don't.
I do.
So I'm not
I
like
can show
that.
the people if you want to.
Let's
Let's
see.
see.
I think I can find it. Hold on. Two
It's
seconds.
I got it. Wait, that was the
Waterfire
second
Rush.
play-in? Yeah, Waterfire. Oh, I just deleted your
Yeah.
cam. Everything's going crazy. Waterfire Rush versus Mikey's That'll be.
Yeah, that'll
That'll
be
be
another
fun.
fun one. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that was
So
I did not expect that. I think looking at the play-in bracket, I thought Marino would have a pretty easy time against Mikeys or Neminex, no matter which one won. And yeah, I mean it went to game 3, but it did definitely not go Marino's way.
yeah, and that's the thing, right? Because Marino was so close to so much advantage twice, like it maybe even three times, because I sniped Marino a few times there. But like, yeah, man, it's
I mean, I have to
like
imagine
the
you play that 100 times, and I think Marino's
I
winning more than
don't,
50 of
yeah,
them.
definitely. And
Like
how
hundreds.
often do you see back-to-back Galex when they're the only two in the deck to deal with the two Taj Mahals that are on board in the way of everything? It's like a lot broke right there for Mykey's in game 3 for sure. And hey, I mean,
Yeah,
sometimes that's Duel Masters.
yeah. If luck didn't matter, it wouldn't be a card game. So yeah,
Yeah.
things broke the right way, and then Mikey's, to its credit, did look really impressive because when the cards hit at the right time, it's a scary deck that can do a lot of cool things and apply a lot of pressure.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those things where like the weakness of it is just how weak the creatures are just by themselves. But when you load up a board with 7 or 8 of them, things
Yeah.
the death by a million cuts, right?
So I have to stay tuned because Mikey's so far, I mean, I think definitely, I mean, 5 Civ we've already seen make it into the brackets. So a couple dubiously competitive decks making it into the bracket against a lot of really strong powerhouse decks. It'll be really fun to see if they can compete when we finally get to the main bracket. Was it a fluke?
Yeah, for
Is
sure.
Mikey's going to beat Water Fire? Who knows? Let's find out later, weeks
Yes.
from now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, guys, have an awesome weekend. Stay tuned for more content coming at you next week. Play in Leg 3 coming at you on Monday. We will have Jungle, Water Nature Pincer, and Light Fire Rush, the fan favorite that everybody's been asking for. Um, and yeah, we'll have the deck profile coming at you here in the next few days. But until next time, guys, leave a like, comment down below, let us know what you thought of this match and the play in so far. And until next time, peace.